The human mind has a built-in psychological immune system. The moment you try to force an idea, a goal, or a decision down someone's throat, their ego flares up, their defenses rise, and they will fight you just to prove their independence. But what if they never felt forced? What if the idea grew inside their own mind like a seed until they genuinely believed they discovered it themselves? This is not persuasion. This is cognitive inception, the elite psychological art of planting thoughts, shaping desires, and letting the other person take 100% of the credit, just so you can get 100% of the results. Welcome to the masterclass of silent influence. The quickest way to trigger someone's psychological defense mechanism is to give them a direct command. To bypass this, master persuaders use the illusion of autonomy. Instead of telling someone what to do, you present them with a carefully curated set of choices. Each option is structurally designed to lead to the exact same destination, your desired outcome. For instance, instead of asking, "Can we finish this project by Friday?" which invites a simple no, you ask, "Should we submit the final draft on Thursday evening or Friday morning?" Both choices yield the same result, a finished project before the weekend. Because the other person is allowed to choose, their brain registers a sense of absolute freedom and control. They do not feel manipulated, they feel empowered. By framing the boundaries of their decision, you let them exercise their free will entirely within a sandbox of your own construction. When you state a fact, people are naturally inclined to doubt it. But when they state it themselves, they accept it as absolute truth. The Socratic hook is the art of guided questioning that subtly nudges the target's mind toward your conclusion. Instead of pitching your idea directly, you ask a sequence of highly specific, open-ended questions that gradually narrow their logical path. You lead them to the edge of the cliff, but you let them take the final leap. For example, you might ask, "What is the biggest bottleneck we are facing right now?" Followed by, "How would solving that bottleneck change our timeline?" By answering your structured questions, they are forced to voice the exact solution you wanted all along. Because they spoke the words, their ego associates the solution with their own intelligence, ensuring they will champion the idea with absolute conviction. An idea cannot take root in dry, unprepared soil. Subconscious priming is the strategic process of planting cognitive anchors, words, concepts, values, or symbols long before the actual decision-making moment. Days or even weeks before you present your main idea, you casually drop relevant fragments into unrelated, low-stakes conversations. If you want to pitch a bold, risky strategy next week, you start casually talking about the high cost of playing it safe, or the necessity of bold moves in a stagnant market today. You mention these concepts without asking for any commitment, allowing them to bypass the target's critical filters. When the final pitch day arrives, the target's subconscious mind already recognizes and feels comfortable with the concepts. The idea feels incredibly familiar, intuitive, and safe to them, making them highly receptive to adoption because their brain has already quietly accepted the premises. Human beings possess a natural psychological phenomenon called reactance, a powerful, rebellious urge to reclaim their freedom whenever they feel threatened or restricted. Strategic reverse psychology is the art of weaponizing this natural defiance to direct their path. Instead of encouraging the action you want them to take, you subtly cast doubt on their ability to do it, or gently suggest a softer, less ambitious alternative. By saying, "This strategy is highly effective, but it might be too aggressive for our current comfort level," or "I'm not sure if we have the stamina to pull this off," you trigger their competitive ego. Their psychological drive to prove you wrong overrides their caution. They will instinctively push back, demand to take the aggressive route, and work to prove their capability. By forbidding or doubting the path, you make them fight to walk down it. One of the most sophisticated ways to plant an idea is to erase any evidence of where it originated. Semantic blurring is the deliberate process of fusing separate conversations over time until the target completely forgets that the initial spark came from you. To execute this, you introduce your idea as a vague, incomplete fragment during a casual brainstorm, allowing them to contribute a small detail to it. In subsequent discussions, you refer back to that conversation, but subtly adjust the phrasing, using their specific vocabulary and key phrases. You say things like, I was thinking about that brilliant point you made last week regarding scaling up, and it led to this strategy by actively crediting them for the foundational premise and wrapping your core plan in their favorite terminology. You blur the cognitive lines of ownership. Their brain performs a self-serving memory rewrite, merging your strategic blueprint with their personal pride. Eventually, they will completely internalize the entire concept, defending and executing it with fierce passion, genuinely believing it was their own creative genius that brought the idea to life from the very beginning. The ultimate barrier to successful influence is your own ego. Most people fail to plant ideas because they desperately want the credit, the praise, and the public recognition of being the smartest person in the room. This loud desire for validation immediately alerts the other person's psychological immune system, triggering resistance. The victory handover is the supreme high-status discipline of entirely surrendering the credit to secure absolute execution of the outcome. Once the idea has successfully taken root in the target's mind and they proudly present it as their own creation, you do not correct them. You do not drop subtle hints that you thought of it first. Instead, you validate them completely. You react with genuine enthusiasm, praise their genius breakthrough, and immediately align yourself to help them execute their vision. By handing them the hollow crown of credit, you secure something infinitely more valuable: their unyielding commitment, energy, and resources to bring your desired project to life. They will work late, bypass obstacles, and exhaust themselves to make their idea succeed, while you quietly guide the ship from behind the curtain. Low-status individuals play for applause. High-status masters play for results. By allowing others to own the spotlight, you quietly retain absolute reach and invisible control over the entire chessboard.